This is part 2 of how the knockout division is stacked right now. Okay, Shu Young, or known as Shu San, one of the most intriguing characters in all of wrestling is Shu Young, or is it Shu San? We're not sure. Originally, Shu Young was the leader of the Undead Bridesmaids and became knockout champion pretty quickly. But something changed, and over time she began to lose her edge after being defeated for the title. Father James Mason wanted her and Havoc to team together to bring chaos and destruction to the division. But they didn't want that, and tensions soon flared up. And it was during this feud with Havoc that we saw her being hung, killed, and resurrected. A new person walked into Impact, and all she knows is that her name is Shu San. The others quickly figured out she was though, so they want nothing to do with her. Who is Susie? Why has Shu Young become her? And what lies in her future? We don't know. And this is what makes her compelling, because we just don't know what's going to happen next. Shu San keeps having flashbacks as she twitches randomly. It's like Shu Young is trying to break out. And one time she did, when Shu San was provoked enough for it to happen. But Shu Young disappeared again shortly after, and now Kylie Ray, unaware of how she was before, has befriended her. All we know is the story of Shu Young, aka Shu San, is far from complete. Madison Wayne. Many may remember her as the third member of the Beautiful People, but she's done so much since then. As a 5-time knockout champion, she's easily the most accomplished in the division. And while she recently ventured to other promotions like WWE, Ring of Honor, and others, Madison soon found her way back to the place she calls home. And having done commentary in the past, she recently been called on to call Impact Wrestling with Josh Matthews and Don Callis' absence. Starting her own talk show as well, Madison is multi-talented as a wrestler, interviewer, commentator, mentor, and more. Her vast experience is a big plus for the Knockouts division. Josh is clearly pushing above his weight here, loving the chemistry they have as well. It's also as if they aren't married. Rosemary. I just love me some Rosemary, even more so when she talks like a collective of people in one body. How do I even describe her? She's just a natural character actor. I still think her best work was when she was with DK, with Abyss and Crazy Steve. When they invaded the Hardy compound a few years ago, no idea what's going on at the moment with SHAREfactory and Johnny Bravo, but they wouldn't build it up for this long without something big planned. That's Rosemary though. We just don't know what's going to happen, and we could thank her for Ali's AEW character, the Bunny. She helped to get over that over before Ali was viciously killed by Shu Young, of course, and she did well to save Havoc and Shu from Father James Mason's clutches. Honestly, doing justice and describing Rosemary will take an article in itself. Do not underestimate us. It could happen one day. SHAREfactory. 377 days as knockout champion is a record. She's still not the longest of all time, third behind Madison Wayne and Gail Kim, but to say you held the title for over a year is very impressive. Granted, she did everything a classic heel champion does to ensure she defended it as seldomly as possible. With the help of the 30-day rules, Johnny Bravo getting disqualified or being buried in general, Lewa Loca can claim to be the best knockout champions ever. And as the wife of John Morrison, it feels like it's only a matter of time till she finds her way to WWE. She's impressive enough to, but I think Ty is waiting for a time when WWE really needs her. There's so much competition in women's wrestling right now that she knows it's best to be at the top somewhere than to be struggling to get airtime elsewhere. Maybe one more knockouts win in 2020. Jordan Grace, the knockouts champion. Dick Mama Pump has been compared to Scott Steiner for a while, and for good reasons. When she first came to Impact, it seemed like she needed to work on her image somewhat. The end product wasn't quite there, but she put in the time and paid her dues, and earlier this year she finally achieved by ending the win of SHAREfactory. She got such a stacked physique that it makes sense for her to be a major contender, and it was only a matter of time. Her wing work has improved exponentially, and the cool thing is she hasn't reached her peak yet. There's a big question mark on her status though, because she's not only a woman to be holding a title. There's 2 female champions in Impact, and much like in WWE when you have 2 world champions equivalents, you're always asking who is the real champion. Maybe we'll find out one day. Till then, Jordan Grace has to establish herself as the woman to be. Tessa Blanchard, the world champion. Okay, so let's put the recent controversies to one side. Yes, there were allegations of her bullying other talents when she was younger. Sure, there were trade exchanges that never got fully resolved. But much like anyone, anywhere, things happen and people change. And I ain't covering for Tessa or claim to know her personally, but it would be very fishy if Impact made her their world champion if she still act in a way which could be considered dubious or harmful. Moving on from that, Tessa Blanchard holding a world championship traditionally held by man is a whole other debate. Does it hurt the male talent? I don't believe so. Let's put it this way. Did we ever say Spike Stokely's son be wrestling bigger guys? What about women still winning the Royal Rumble from number 2? How about any other man smaller than Tessa Blanchard to ever win anything? It's a while for Tyler to win the IC title, but because it wasn't the world title, how does that work? You can't have a rule for one and not for the other. The fact is, Tessa is intense, strong, and tough for her stature. She's a pretty good wrestler too, so factors in that wrestling isn't real fighting, and Tessa has spent much of her career wrestling guys. Why should she be restricted? What's the point of limiting her potential? Why make it so the world title can only be won by guys? If the male title can accept her, then why can't others? It's not like we ain't seen men win women's championship in WWE and TNA. Tessa Blanchard is world champion, and I think she's doing a good job so far. Saying we didn't get to see her against Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards though soon. Conclusion: the Impact Wrestling Knockout division has taken women seriously since it first introduced the championship back in 2007. They created the women's revolution as it became a platform for women's wrestling to be taken just as seriously as the men's. No longer were they about bras and panties and mud pit matches. They were having to be degraded in beauty competition. Getting ahead in the knockouts division was and still is about being the best overall wrestler. And while it seemed ups and downs over the years, Impact Management has taken it a step further by making the knockouts the focal point of the entire company. Out of the 3 singles championships, 2 of them are held by women. Some of the quiff stories end up on the laps of the knockouts. It's no coincidence that in a time when other companies have put extra emphasis on their female talent, that Impact takes it to another level entirely. One step ahead of the game, much like they were in 2007, Impact Wrestling shows what it really means to bring equality for women's wrestling in 2020. Could it be any more stacked? Can Impact incorporate all these knockouts into their weekly schedule? It will be interesting to find out. Thanks for reading. See you again next time. And also, please watch part 1 of the knockouts. Please watch the Impact Wrestling Knockout Division and look at how stacked it's become. Part 1, featuring Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre with Sami Zayn as corner. And also, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Ishmael Carmichael. SHMAEL CARMICHAEL. So thanks to listening to my video. Until I start recording, see you later. See you next time. Bye.
And he gets the job done here tonight.
What a contest. Kurt Angle has made a career of thrilling wins, just like what we saw here tonight.
Guys, it sounds like we can all agree that was an extremely impressive win.